And welcome back to part 7 of What If the Uzumaki clan lived in the leaf. Last time on Naruto What If, we basically caught up with the whole Anko busting in after the written exam was over. Now, there is one thing that got brought up in the comments that is actually a very good point, that luckily it's such a mild point that's already been brought up, I can just course correct right here. The chances of the Sound Ninja being there are very slim because Orochimaru is actually dead in this version. So, he never created the Sound Village. It also begs the question as if there's going to be an invasion of the Leaf to begin with. For my money, no. But that doesn't mean, for anyone who's wondering, that Gaara, Kankuro, Temari wouldn't be there anyway. The Sand still, by all definition, has a good relationship with the Leaf Village. If anything, the only village that does not have a good relationship with the Leaf at this time in history is probably the Stone, because of how Minato bent them over and spanked them and then sent them back to daddy. Because, Minato basically said, oh, yeah, let me just show you why I'm going to be Hokage. Yeah, I think I remember the scene in the anime where they actually showed off that, like, not actually what happened, but what was about to happen. They had like a couple dozen of those things, which, honestly, given how the Flying Thunder God works, you wouldn't really need more than 10 to completely mass obliterate people. But yeah, they decided no, we're gonna be safe and have like a couple dozen just in case. Cool. Because really, all you gotta do is launch them like from a trebuchet, and basically have them time it, and then just, which is probably what he did. Just had people throw them at the same time and just zip right between them and just mercilessly slaughter people. Minato actually probably has one of the highest death tolls under his belt per shinobi by anyone, just for sheer numbers and instances. But yeah, the only village that probably is, we don't really know how Konoha's relationship with the Mist actually was. That's the one village we really don't know anything about their relations with. We know they were never really enemies, but they were never really allies either. They were kind of just neutral to each other. Cloud, we know a little bit of the relationship. It was strained, thanks to that whole kidnapping attempt. Sand was an ally of theirs. Stone, not so much. So yeah, the Sand siblings being there makes sense. But there is no Sound. So the Sound I actually had to take out of the equation here. So anyway, you get to the Forest of Death. They explain the rules of the Forest of Death, and bell goes, and they go about doing the Forest of Death. Naruto, Hinata, and Sasuke pause. Naruto needs to use the bathroom, but Sasuke asks Hinata, hold on, check the area, and then she goes Byakugan, and sure enough, she sees the Rain Nin. They catch the Rain Nin. Naruto then goes to relieve himself, and they see if he has a scroll. As far as I can tell, that one did not have the scroll, but I can imagine them getting a scroll pretty quickly, and then beelining it for the for the tower. Would they get it done in the first day? Probably. I could see them getting it done in the first day, just as Shino and Kiba and Sakura in this case do, as well as Gaara and their team. Everyone else probably has to take their time a little bit more, but there is no Sound Ninja issue, so things go off pretty much without a hitch. All the respective teams get there within a decent amount of time. There's no lingering. 1 second. Excuse me. Downside of COVID is pretty much just an enhanced flu. So my nose is running like a mother right now. Mother after her newborn that's been taken by the dingo. My dad's home, but he's not coming inside. It's very, very strange because I can hear the dog just like pawing at the door. So that brings us basically now to the preliminary matches. Now, Kabuto is still very much a player in this, by the way. His team is still doing their shtick. And they're still probably being spies. They're just being spies for different parties. So, because I don't doubt Kabuto would still be spying if Kabuto or if Orochimaru was not around. He's probably not just still a sleeper agent for Sasori more than anything else. Sorry. Another downside of this is I do have a perpetuating ache in my neck. I do have a sore neck perpetually right now. But it's okay. It's all good. So they're still involved, but Kabuto still does the thing where he taps out. So, because he's still the perpetual Geni. Like, he's failed God knows how long. or how many times. So, Kabuto, hightails it out of there. And the matches are set. Now, as I pointed out, and someone pointed out, it was the Naruto having a sister what if this happened. Because I not only have Conrad in there, but I had to create 2 new characters, his cousins, with Karama and Kirashima. I had to completely redo the match setup because I actually have random individuals there that would affect possibility of matches happening. So, in order of how this goes, we have ourselves now, and I can never remember, I think one of them's name is Yori, and hold on, I'm going to get Team Kabuto up here right now so I can just reference their names real quick, because I know one of them is Yori. Wouldn't you know, it's one of the immediate things that comes up because I've checked it so many times. Let's see here. Team Kabuto was, Yori, yes, and Misumi. Now, Misumi, if I'm remembering, is the one who can dislocate his joints. Yes, that's which one he is, if I'm not mistaken. Yes, physique modification. That's exactly what he was able to do. Okay, cool. So, Yori so it's actually, first up, match 1. Shino Abarama versus Yori Akaido. This should be too quick, and you better be careful. Overconfidence will be your downfall. And so, it comes in, and they go a little hand to hand, because does go a little hand to hand and get bugs on people. And sure enough, he does that. But he notices now, he goes like, please, you little fool, your chakra's going to be all mine. And weirdly enough, it is like it's like a weird circle effect. Like the more Shino's getting more and more buzzes. What's going on? It seems we're in a bit of an impasse. My insects are feeding on your chakra and restoring some of it to me while you're stealing it. We're going in a bit of a loop. Question is, who's going to really run out? Who's going to absorb who's faster? And to which, and finally, Yori's just like, get him off it, damn it! And then finally, the bugs just finally swarms, like, well, that's over with. And the bugs return. Oh man, that was so weird. It's like, and some of them are like, creepy. The winner is Shino Abarame. Yay! Is it right on, dude? It's like, congratulations, Shino. Even though Sakura's like, match number 2. Choji Yakamichi. All right, I can get this over with. Versus Gaara of the Desert. I don't really want to fight this guy. Because, even without seeing what he can do, I don't know Choji of all people would want to go up against this guy. Come on, we'll go out for barbecue. Just do your best, Choji. And you can surrender at any time you feel you don't want to keep fighting. All right. Well, let's do this already. Come on, that's what you say? It's like, come on. And human boulder, and he just comes in, and Garcia just blocks him. What? Now we know even Shikamaru states that Choji has actually the best physical attack of anyone in the group, like pure power wise. So and we know how strong the human boulder actually is because it cratered into the wall of the exam room. And he got stuck in it. It had enough velocity and power to actually get stuck in the wall. So it's clear that Choji does have power, and it might even be able to, if he's going all out, be able to overpower the sand shield at points. But Gaara's shield is clearly faster than Choji, which is very much able to keep Choji at bay enough for him to eventually just kind of like grab his sand coffin, oh crud, and just crushing Choji in his ball form, fortunately. Or as Choji, actually, because what happened here is just Choji deflates, kind of tired out, and he gets caught by Gaara's sand. Like, I give up. It's like, too late. Sand coffin. Choji, use your expand quick. Shoot my mother. And he just bursts out of it before he gets crushed to death. It's like, damn it all. It's like, Gaara, that's enough. Take one more action, and you are disqualified from the tournament. Disqualified from the exams. Fine. See, Choji's scared out of his mind now. Like, he barely made it out of there. And everyone's now looking at Gaara like, what the hell is this guy's problem? And now, I think Kushina might be there as Minato is watching. Now, Minato could have easily stepped in as well. He's got the Thunder God as well. And he's just naturally fast. Like, Minato is insanely fast. He was known for his speed even before he created the jutsu. So he easily could have stepped in if he had to. Kushina, though, is getting a vibe, and she looks at Minato, and and he knows that face on her, that look on her, just like, wait, which one do you think he is? And she's thinking, like, based on the village and his attitude and the ability, I'd say, I see. We'll keep an eye on him. Choji's okay, which is good, but if we'll step in if need be. Next up, combat. Kirashima Uzumaki versus Temari of the by the way, Temari and Gaara and Kankuro do not have a canon last name, if I'm not mistaken. But I believe, like, the fan accepted one is Sabaku, I think it is. 1 second. Well, yeah, she's Temari. Sorry, I'm looking up Temari. I'm like, oh, yeah, well, she's a Nara now because she married Shikamaru. Best girl ever or best girl of all time? Same thing, you decide. Actually, I mean, I always did like Temari, but no. See, for me, for me, as a guy in his 30s, May is probably my girl. But, back in the day, back in my teen years, no, Hinata would have been the one I would have been attracted to. But no, as a guy in his early 30s, yeah, no, I'm a May guy all the way. Hey, what are you gonna do? No, yeah, she doesn't have a surname. Okay, Kazekage clan. Hold on, does the Kazekage even have a last name, a surname? Kankuro, Gaara, Kankuro. Yeah, I just can't find a last name for these guys. Anyway, and Temari. Anyway, Temari of the desert. It's like, all right. It's like, oh, well, yeah. All right, bro. I'll see you later, cuz. He's like, cousin? Oh, so the cute Naruto's your cousin, huh? Makes sense. You're not bad looking yourself. And it's like, well, thanks a lot. Thanks a lot. That's pretty nice you say. You're not so bad looking yourself. Sounds sad, girl. It doesn't mean I'm gonna go easy on you. Wouldn't have it any other way. And then, he just starts using jutsu. It's like, so, and Hinata actually chimes up. It's like, so wait, how strong is Kirashima anyway? I don't think I've ever met your cousin. Yeah, I'm curious about that. I mean, the Uzumaki are pretty powerful. Even Genins are above average usually. Oh, Kirishima's definitely has his talents. He's not quite as good as seals as some of the other Uzumaki, but the seals he uses them effectively. Kirishima just, Earth style. I'm just gonna make up one. Jagged spike jutsu or jagged rock jutsu, and a couple just rocks just come in and just almost like a fissure kind of happens, or jagged fissure. Actually, that's a good name too. Jagged fissure jutsu, and then comes in right at Temari, who's now flying up. He's like, huh? Wow, come on. Oh, no, don't tell me you got it. Wind sight jutsu! And just blast Kirashima. Oof! It's like, oh, poor baby. Is that all you got? Are we done already? And all of a sudden, poof! It's like, oh, well, I gotta tell you, I almost felt that. And all of a sudden, she's like, well, let's try this. And then just, boom, boom. And he still puts his hands up, but boom, boom, boom. What? And she's just launching more and more of the wind sights at him, and nothing's happening. He's just, doof, doof, doof. And finally she's like, all right, well, this has been fun, Temari, but unless you got anything else, I'm afraid we're not going to really be able to do much beyond, you're not going to be able to do anything beyond that. And she finally sees that Kirashima, he looks different. Now she can get a close look. It's like, wait, what's going on with your skin? Huh. Well, not like most Uzumaki. I can use seals, but it's actually not really something I'm all that good at. But at least not the really explosive and impressive ones. So I decided to focus on something else. And he all of a sudden he's got seal. All of a sudden his body is glowing with seals. It's like what is that? Something I created to kind of go with my style of hunting. I'm a bit more of just a hands-on kind of guy. So I used these so I basically tattooed these seals on my body to absorb my earth chakra when I use it, and then redistribute it throughout my body. It allows me to harden my skin and to be as hard as rock. And the more chakra I use, the harder it gets. Fortunately, it's only temporary. Otherwise, I'd be just a walking monolith all the time. Anyway, but enough about me. Let's beat you. Comes in and just, Temari has to basically try to blast him back, and he's just charging through it, although he's slowing him down. Eventually, she closes the fan and basically has to kind of like go toe-to-toe with him physically, where she's just like, you're not just full of wind after all. She's trying to strategize, figure something out, uses like a smoke bomb to try to close the distance, but he basically grabs onto a fan before she can get away. He's like, sorry, and just gets her. Sorry about that. You really did but if it's any consolation, I wasn't just flirting. I do think you're cute. It's like the winner is Kirashima Uzumaki. Yeah, and then his hardening ability fades. Yeah. That's you gotta be kidding. You flirt, then you punch a girl in the gut, and then you call her cute. It's one hell of a way to flirt. I guess, yeah, maybe it's not the most natural way of going about things. To which Temari actually smiles and does kind of like give him a wink. It's like, that may not be traditional, but who wants to go for tradition all the time? He kind of just winks at him and see, and so he goes back into the stands. Match number 4, Kankuro versus Sakura Haruna. All right, watch me, Sasuke. I'll show you just how skilled I've gotten, strong I've gotten. And Kankuro and her square off. She throws out a couple clones, standard clones, not shadow clones. Obviously, she does not have the chakra for that. And Kankuro, has to figure out which one's which. Ultimately, he grabs Sakura and grabs her with Karasu, only for her to dissolve. It's like, what? What's going on here? And it's like, sorry, I'm not quite as physically capable as my other two teammates, but I'm definitely the smartest of the group. And so I decided to focus on something else. And she basically now has him caught in a genjutsu. And she ultimately then just knocks him out. And the winner is Sakura Haruno. Ah! And Gaara's just looking at his siblings. Sorry, Gaara. We tried. Shut up, or I'll kill you. So there's that. Next up is Hinata Hyuga versus Rock Lee. This is where it gets into. All right, Hinata. I wish to apologize for the match with Sasuke earlier. Guy Sensei was right. I determined the parameters of the match. It was not a fair test of my abilities. I wish for you to not hold anything back. Use all what you're capable of using against me, so I can prove that I am the splendid ninja. And Hinata's just, it's okay, Lee. Just promise me you'll give it your all as well. It's like, I will. Absolutely. Beautiful. This is so wonderful. The youth. Give it your all, Lee. And you too, Hinata. Show them what youth can do. And Kakashi's like, come on, Hinata, yeah. And even Sasuke's like, you can do it. And to which, again, Sakura's just like jealous. Like, he's not even paying attention to me. Which is like, yeah, Sakura, no. And to be fair, I'm not dissing on Sakura too much. I actually made her learn Genjutsu in this and actually be confident and win a match against Kankuro, who is by all account a more capable ninja than she was at the time. But anyway, their fight begins, and Rock Lee is no fool because he has Neji on his team. He is doing everything he can, and they're going back and forth. She's blocking his hits, though she knows, can you tell, he hits hard. Just, but she's also able to occasionally get a shot in on him. Just, I will not be able to. I will not be able to avoid those hits forever. She is not, while her accuracy is not as perfect as Neji, her flexibility makes her even more difficult to hit than Neji. This will be tricky. And so they prepare again, and eventually it's like, Guy Sensei, Lee, take them off. I will allow it. The young Hinata is strong enough to take the hit, and I believe you, and I believe this is worthy. Yes, all right, here I go. And now would Guy think of this a appropriate scenario to use the primary Lotus? Maybe. If Lee can't, because to be fair, this Lee can't go all out even. But that being said, I imagine taking the weighted, maybe not the Lotus, but at least taking the weights off, and Hinata would just be getting bum rushed by Lee at that point. I doubt anyone, even Neji, except for maybe Neji, because Lee still hadn't been able to beat Neji at that point, was that fast in the tuning exams at that point. So he's bum rushing Hinata, who's getting hit, and it's like, all right, forgive me, Hinata. It's like, sorry, Lee. Hope this doesn't hurt too much. And I gotta remember, I always forget the name of the tech. The one that protection of the 8 trigrams or something like that. Yeah, that one anyway. Or she's just, it's like, what is, and Lee actually gets cut up enough that he actually trips and hits the wall, and again craters the wall. It's, at that point, oh god, oh shit, what was the guy's name? The guy who was proctoring the exam, Hayate is like, good, oh my god, we had to get some insurance policy on these walls. And to which Rock Lee's now getting out. He's hurt. Like, what was that? Oh, I'm so sorry, Lee. Don't be sorry. That was a brilliant technique. And I am not overly injured. I can still fight. Unfortunately, I can imagine while he didn't get anywhere near as effed up as he did against Gaara, he did maybe get like he maybe had like a tendon severed or lacerated or something like that. He's not like completely floored in terms of his ability to perform ever again. He's not like permanently injured, but it's like he can't fight now. Like he can't even stand on. He can only stand on like one foot. Like his Achilles tendon has been severely damaged to the point where he can't put pressure on it. Damn. It's like, I'm sorry, Lee. I know you want to prove yourself to be a good ninja, but you already have. So please, I don't want you to get any more hurt than you already are. But you think this is it's not about strength. Isn't always about knowing when. Hinata saying strength isn't always about knowing, or isn't always about persevering. It's knowing when to stop, knowing when you've reached your limit, so you can then learn to surpass it later on. Something along those lines. And Lee, and I think Hinata would be one of those people who could get that through to Lee, because she's a very sincere, very kind-hearted person and doesn't like to see people hurt. She's already hurt him way more than she wanted to. So, yeah, I could see that actually getting through. Rock Lee being like, Proctor, I surrender. It's like, all right, let's get him over to the medical bay right now. It's like, all right, it was a splendid fight, Hinata. I look forward to having another one later on. And so, yeah, Hinata wins. The winner is Hinata Hyuga. So we're still got 5 more matches to go. I gotta be quicker about this. I'm gonna get through two of the quick ones real quick. Next one up is Ino Yamanaka versus Sasuke Uchiha. That fight goes pretty quick. Like Ino's not able to do much, and Sasuke just poof, oh, that's quick. Shikamaru versus Tenten. That fight maybe draws out a little longer, but it ultimately results in Shikamaru doing what he did to Keen and basically knocking out Temari. And just boom, and that. Neji Hyuga versus Kiba Inuzuka. Fortunately, this one just goes pretty quick. Kiba is quickly taken down. Although going into Fang over Fang, I think makes it a little difficult for Neji because he can't immediately hit Kiba there, but he's got the reflexes to dodge and just outlast and eventually just tag them so they go down. By the way, this isn't even the order these take place in. Most of these fights took place later. These are just the fights that I knew would go the quickest, because the one fight I wanted to focus on will take the longest is one that's going to be the one that is going to be the one that it's going to be Naruto's fight. And then Missouri versus Karin Uzumaki. This fight, he tries to use his flexibility body modification technique on her, only for her to just go about with chakra chains. She's like, yeah, no. And it's like, let me show you how you really manipulate someone's body, and then she just throws him around with the chakra chains until he's just like, I give. It's like, yep. Now, you'll notice there's two people's names that haven't come up: Naruto and Karama. Well, when I randomized it, guess who was going to face each other? Two Uzumakis fight each other. The last match will be Karama Uzumaki versus Naruto Uzumaki. Now, everyone kind of focuses in on this because, like, two Uzumaki going at it. Oh, well, Naruto, I was not expecting us to be meeting in the match in combat so quickly. Neither was I, Karama. You better not be holding back on me. I could be saying the same to you, cousin. Our little cousin. Match begins. Naruto, Mia just wind style, air bullet, poof, rose whip, and the rose whip comes. Now, how I imagine Karama does Karama's jutsu works is basically like this. He implants seals on plants, influences them with his chakra, and depending on what he does, it's not really necessarily a Kekkei Genkai, but it is influencing outside matters with his chakra, almost like transmutation. And he can combine it with his adamantine chains. Kirashima doesn't have the chains. Karin and Karama do. And he's combining them, basically fusing chakra with his rose whips to basically create this like octopus tendril rose whip thing. So it's like, you better hurry up, Naruto. Otherwise you're going to be just fed to my garden of terror as more and more plants are starting to, as he's basically infusing chakra. Like, I can see him literally just carrying little seeds with tiny seals on them, like microscopic seal or like nano-sized seals or something like that. Like, he'd have to prep them seriously beforehand. But yeah, he just throws them out in like a giant greeneries like for him. He's like, this is no good. This isn't good. Great breakthrough. Boom. He's like, and you'll have to use something with a bit more power than that. All right, then how about this? Shadow Clone Jutsu. What is he planning now? And the clones are basically just going into the garden, and all of a sudden Naruto just, you really should have been paying more attention to the clones than, you really should have been paying more attention to that, Karama. So, and then, exploding Shadow Clone Jutsu, and all of a sudden he just blows up the entire field of flowers. Like, all of a sudden Naruto's coming in there. It's like, try this one out. He uses two Gale Palms. Gale Force, Woodstock, Gale Force Palm, boom, and just gut checks Karama. Fortunately, he doesn't hit the wall as his thorns grab the wall before he can. Just danger. That's dangerous, Naruto. But did you really think I'll fall for something as simple as that? And all of a sudden, the plants around him start to wither as the chains get exposed, and the chains are starting to form. It's like, what is? And he sees there's a seal. I was like, and Naruto's got another seal on his palm there. Just a chakra transitions. Oh, you little bastard. It's like, yep, you gotta give up now, Karama? All right, I give. Just stop it. I don't want to pass out. Yeah. So what Naruto did when he basically placed the seal there, is he hit Karama with the technique, is he placed the seal on there that was basically just going to siphon his chakra and transfer it to wherever Naruto wanted to. In this case, his palm. In essence, that similar thing I talked about in the Land of Waves, except this time he just placed the seal on top because Karama wasn't even using any real chakra-based attacks. He was just putting chakra into plants and firing him at Naruto. So we leave off now with the matches for the finals being announced. Neji Hyuga versus Karin Uzumaki. Shino Aberama versus Hinata Hyuga. Naruto Uzumaki versus Sakura Haruno. Shikamaru Nara versus Gaara of the Desert. And Kirashima Uzumaki versus Sasuke Uchiha. All right, we'll see you in a month. Have fun. And so that is where, and good luck with your training. So that is where we're going to leave things off here because we're already at the 30-minute mark. And a lot of this was spent with me coughing and all that. So that's why it went that long. Until then, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Like, comment, share, subscribe, and I'll see you folks for the next one. Have a good one.